Wednesday, and you know what? Another episode. Fade the Duce, joined as always by Matt McCumber, Kevin Ducey, and Matt. I think you're living La Viga, Vegas.
I'm getting the latest, hottest betting tips and trends from ground zero. So
I'm
hopefully,
I'm excited to hear what they got to say about Illinois and Ohio State. I can tell you that. So,
there's plenty.
guys, sounds like you both did pretty. You did good last week, regular for your regular 5 games, and we split the locks. So, but overall, Matt, really so far through 6 weeks, I mean, you're doing way better than you did last year. So, last 2 years, actually.
Absolutely. I have come all the way back. I'm 15 and 15 overall, 3-3 in my locks. 4 straight weeks of 3-2. So hopefully continue. I'm going to get a 4-1, at least 4-1 week coming up.
And Kev, you're hey, as long as you keep being above schedule, 3-2, and then you got your lock, so a 4-2 week. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it when my locks make my partner real money. So that helped, even though Maryland tried to play around and jack that thing up. Boy.
The Mike Loxley special, you know that hurt. Whew.
Called October, man. October Loxley. So
thanks for watching, Jason. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And if you're watching on X, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, keep it orange and blue at 200 columns. That's where you can catch Fade the Duce as well. So we appreciate you to subscribe there. So we'll jump into it this week. We got 5 matchups, and then we're going to have a lock just like we usually do. So this week we're going to start out with some SEC action. Alabama, Missouri. Bama, 2.5-point favorite over Missouri, who had a bye week last week. Not really sure what to make of Missouri this year. Besides the South Carolina close win at home, they hosted UMass. Not really sure what to make. They beat Central Arkansas. I mean, not really sure what to make of Missouri, Matt. We'll start with you here. Bama obviously feeling really good. Ty Simpson looking good. They seem to feel like they got that Florida State loss out of their system. 2 straight wins of big wins. I mean, what say you? Does this line maybe look a little thin?
It's a little thin for me, and I'm going to take Bama here -2.5 under the field goal spread. If it was 3.5, I might have leaned the other way with a little more value play with Missouri. But this is a Missouri team, to your point. Their strength of schedule is outside the top 100. They really haven't been challenged all season. Of course, Bama, they're going for their 4th straight ranked win, or third straight ranked win. And they've been challenged almost at every corner of their season. And also, to your point, I truly believe, yes, they've settled down, and they're playing more like Bama football that we're used to here. Missouri, they run a lot of cover 3. I was looking at some extended metrics here. Ty Simpson has done really, really well against cover 3 pass or protection this year, defensive calls. So I really give the edge here to Ty Simpson. I think you got the better quarterback. Can Alabama stop the Missouri run? Missouri's rushing offense has been really elite this season, just as far as metrics and output has gone. And Bama's D against rushing, 98th in the country, is bad. It has not been good. It's been inconsistent. I'll say that. But obviously they got playmakers on that side of the ball, but they got to figure out how to tackle, and they got to stop the run. So if Missouri can run the ball this game, more power to it. I think they're coming out with their hair on fire, but I think this is a Bama team that's been through the battles, and you got the better quarterback. So give me Bama -2.5.
All right. So if this game, if Missouri had anything that I could base these numbers off of from an opponent standpoint, I would be all in on it. Now, granted, they did play Kansas, they did play South Carolina. Missouri's the number 3 rushing offense in the country. And just like Matt said, Alabama's pushing 100 worst defense. But you know who the best rushing defense in the country is? Missouri. Missouri's the #1 rush defense in the country, and Alabama's like same thing on rushing offense. They cannot run the ball. They have not run the ball effectively all year. Granted, they had 100 and some yards against Vanderbilt, but they got 30 yards on a 4th and 2 to finish the game or something like that. So I'm sitting here and I'm really wanting to know, like, who is Missouri? Like, because their schedule's been so soft. They haven't left Columbia. And they're still not leaving Columbia for this one. It's insane what they've done with their schedule. They play 8 of 12 games, I think, in Columbia this year. They're well rested. I think the defense puts up enough of a fight here. I would love this at like 3.5. I'd love Missouri, but I'm going to go with, a Deuce special here, and I'm going to take the under 51.5. It's what I'm seeing on Scores and Odds. So we basically run these. We start the morning off with off of ESPN Bet. I'm looking at Scores and Odds at the moment. I'm seeing it at 51.5. I see this game being very much like a 24-21 game, 21-17 maybe even. I really like the under in this one. I refuse to bet on Missouri. I'm going to take the under here. I think Missouri's going to try and keep Simpson off the field as much as they possibly can, and they're going to try and put Simpson into some 3rd and long, certain passing downs. Missouri's the #3 total defense overall. But once again, I just don't know if they've played anybody. #2 total defense behind Oklahoma. So it's interesting. Give me the under here, 51.5. I think Missouri playing at home, well-rested defense comes to play. Probably, Matt, I know you like first half, so it might be a first half play for you.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Rested defense, 2 weeks for Bama.
They have, right. If any week they're going to beat a Bama team that they haven't beaten yet and pull this off, it's now with the rest and preparation.
And I mean, it was a bugaboo of Saban's. I don't know if it's been DeBoer, but mobile quarterbacks used to drive Saban Alabama teams nuts. Purdue is pretty mobile. He can get out there a little bit. So,
yeah. All right. Let's jump to the Big Ten. The second biggest game of the week in the Big Ten. Or third, USC Michigan. It's there. So Indiana, who has passed all their tests so far this year, Illinois at home, and then going to Kinnick and getting a win. It doesn't really matter how you win in Kinnick.
Nope.
Ugly is usually how it works, but pass that test, and this will be Oregon's toughest test this year. I think we've seen Penn State is a fragile beast at the moment. Maybe not even calling them a beast at the moment, but Oregon going into Happy Valley and the whiteout was intimidating itself, but Penn State this year, just all year, really hasn't been impressive. We talked about that earlier in the year. They just were nonchalant in it and didn't look impressive. And Oregon went in there and capitalized, and they're looking really good. So the two most powerful, probably offensive teams in the Big Ten. This is going to be a good one, Kev. We're going to start with you, but clearly in Eugene, that's a huge home field advantage, and I think this is clearly going to be a lot tougher than going to Kinnick. So we'll start with you.
It's tougher than going to Kinnick, but Phil Parker's defense has confused the crap out of quarterbacks, especially the first time you see it for Francisco Mendoza. And Indiana didn't play Iowa last year, so I don't know what to make of that. Here we're looking at two teams that are top 10 in total offense and total defense. Both teams. Indiana's slightly ahead in both metrics. Now, granted, Indiana's got an outlier of a Power 4 team they played. We'll not mention what happened in that game, but it's a game where I'm leaning under the 55.5, surprisingly, because I think these defenses are better than people think, and I think that they're both going to want to try to kind of ground control. I think that Indiana's defensive front can cause some problems for Dante Moore. Indiana's defensive front did cause some problems. Penn State's defensive front did cause some problems for Dante Moore and had him moving around quite a bit there. This 7 and a hook is too much for me. I think the Hoosiers keep this within the number. I actually think that people are sleeping on Indiana a little bit because they don't believe that Illinois is a good football team because of the way that score looked. I think Indiana is a really good football team. I think they got athletes everywhere. Maybe not to the level of Oregon's athletes, but they're really physical. Kurt Signetti with a week to prepare. That guy's a hell of a football coach, like I said, and keep it in orange and blue. When Illinois played him, it felt like we were playing Tecmo Bowl, and we only had 4 plays to call, and they got 1 out of 4 chance to call our play. I think Signetti has his team prepared. Give me the Hoosiers plus the 7.5 on this one.
Okay. And by the way, of the game you didn't want to mention earlier, Ryan Day called that game an outlier. So we're going to go with that.
Yeah, he's going to tell his team that. Hopefully his players don't think that. He's going to tell his team that.
Matt?
Yeah, with Kev on this, I think people are sleeping a little bit on the Indiana Hoosiers. Not getting too much pub, sitting at number 7 in the country for a team that has really, to this point, dominated their opponents. And I changed this pick 4 different times. I really liked the under to start because I'm looking at the weather. It's supposed to be in the mid-50s with light rain. And then I went to the over because both of these are explosive offenses. And I was like, if they can get off to a good start, I think it could go back and forth a little bit. I have settled on IU plus 7.5. I think Signetti, to Kev's point, is going to have his team ready. I think they're going to come in with a chip on their shoulder. I don't think that Penn State win doesn't look as impressive anymore to me. And I just feel they had the time off again. And I know they had to travel and go out to the Pacific, to the West Coast, but this is a game where I use methodical nature. Yes, they can play fast, and yes, they can score a lot of points, but at the same time, they like to keep it balanced, and they try to run, and I think they're going to really methodically move the ball down the field here. All great points by Kev too. Defense and offense. I mean, they're both really balanced. They're both really, top 10s, top 15s, and all really major statistical categories. But I'm going to go IU plus 7.5. Give me the points. And I liken this to 27, 23 game, somewhere around there.
Knowing Vegas, Matt, I would not be surprised if this game ended up 31-24 with the over-under 55.5 hitting right
at
it. And Indiana just coming in under the hook on both of them because Joe's love to bet overs and they love to bet favorites. And I would not be surprised if this ends up being 31-24. It'll be a fun game to watch. I think as Illinois fans, we all want to see Indiana go show well. D'Angelo Pond's back for Indiana, by the way. Missed the Iowa game big. I mean, that guy's a first-round draft pick at corner. So,
and I know we're not talking about Iowa per se, but man, what Indiana did taking out their quarterback Gronkowski or whatever, Gronowski. Now that they've got just this guy back there, another lame duck quarterback, the Iowa that could have just ruined Iowa's season. I mean.
Is Gronowski out?
I mean, looked like Gronowski got injured in that game.
But is he out for a period of time?
It looked like it was bad. Like he was hobbled, like it was soft tissue or something like that. So, yeah, it looks like that guy, whoever their backup is, he's the guy. So they took him out, and that helped them kind of hold him off there at the end. But now we're moving on to the Red River rivalry, which is a game that Kev went to. Was it last year?
It was, yeah. It was the Illinois Purdue game. And
this one's would have been really intriguing if Mateer was not injured. I think too. Texas is coming off the Florida loss. To me, from the look of it, you would just say, okay, outside looking in without Mateer, Oklahoma undefeated, Texas struggling, but man, you take Mateer out and you're going to have a fired up Texas team whose defense has been pretty good. I know Florida and DJ Lagway had a pretty good showing last week, Matt. So 1.5. What do you make of this line? Is this a just we don't know what to make of it line or what?
Yeah, this is a stinky line to me. The word out here in Vegas right now, this 1.5 is with Mateer playing, which is nuts to me. That is the word.
Mateer playing.
That is 1.5 with him playing. And so that tells me Vegas thinks Texas is going to come out, hair on fire, backs up against the wall, nothing, left of their season if they lose. They have to put all their chips in. I can't take Texas in this situation because one, they haven't beaten a Power 4 conference all season or Power 4 team all season. Their offense is just non-existent. Their offensive line is terrible. Arch Manning doesn't have a lot. I mean, he hasn't been great. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't had a lot of time to throw either. He's got 16 TDs on the year, but in games that really matter against Ohio State and last week against Florida, he's got 3 TDs to 3 interceptions. So I'm not leaning into this Texas line at all. I'm taking the under 42.5. Both of these teams with very, very good defenses. Now I know Florida scored last 29. Week 29 on them. I think you see a renewed sense of focus here by the Texas defense. They obviously have the players. Oklahoma's defense, by all metrics, number 1 in the country. And I think they're 1, 2. Ohio State's got some metrics where they're number 1 as well, and we'll get into that. But they
tell me there's a chance. Okay.
Yeah, there is a chance. I think this will be an ugly game with ugly quarterback play, and that depends on obviously Mateer plays or Hawkins. But if Hawkins is in, I mean, give me the under all day long. I don't know if Mateer will be back. I think it's too much to risk.
He just had surgery like 2 weeks ago.
It's been they had a bye week in there, so I think it's like wrist, 3 weeks.
Right?
But yeah, wrist.
Yeah.
Give me the under 42.5. I think this is going to be a struggle bus game, and with a lot on the line. So I think I'll go with 42.5 under.
I like that, Matt, and I really do. One of the things that I like in that is that Oklahoma is number 2 total defense in the country, number 2 in scoring, number 5 in rush defense. And you got to put it into perspective when you look at Oklahoma, number 5 in rush defense. Well, they played Michigan, who's a top 10 rushing offense in the country, and they're still number 2. They're still number 2. Number 5 in total rush defense. This defense is legit, and Florida's a good defense. Florida's not as good as OU, and Florida got after and pressured Arch Manning consistently all game. And now listen, Arch made some throws late, like he did. He made some decent plays. I see him turning the ball over in this game. I think that Oklahoma, even without Mateer, can keep this can win this ball game because of their defense. I think they're going to put enough pressure on Manning. 42.5. I just worry about a defensive touchdown or 2 from each side. It scares me. I think Oklahoma wins this game. I think it's a wrong team favored situation. Give me the Sooners plus 1.5 here in a game that they got their asses whooped last year. Texas's defenses look somewhat susceptible a little bit. It's a really good defense. I do think Matt's probably right. I do see this probably like 17-14. But I love this Oklahoma defense. Venables has got these guys, talk about team play with their hair on fire, and they're straight up going to get after Arch. So, but I like OU to be able to keep Texas's offense from scoring much, and they'll find a way to score a little bit.
Here's the thing that is an outlier for me. I'm looking right now. 3rd and 4th down success. Oklahoma, number 1 in the country. Texas, 121st. It is a difference in a game many, many times over. So yeah, I'm with, if I had to pick a team, even though with everything on the line for Texas, I'm still going OU, but I'll take the under. I think this is a 20-13 game, 24-13. It's under 42.5.
The number 5 rush defense, who has played a top 10 rushing offense, Power 4 team, is also number 1 in the nation in sacks generated. 21 sacks for Oklahoma in 5 games. That's 4.2 per game. By the way, Western Michigan third. Just a little nugget there for Illinois fans. They get after they frankly get after the quarterback, and if you can't run the ball, you're going to be stuck in third in passing situations. I like this pick.
And man, think about that. The result, though, if that's what happens, did everyone overestimate how good Texas was going to be? Like, they're supposed to have all these people back, and you're going to already have 3 losses, like 7 weeks into the season. That's sad. I mean, just sad. I think everybody thought Arch Manning was a lot better than he is. Like, you can see he's going to be good, I think, by the time he leaves Texas, and he has shown great throws at times. But man, that's just think about where it leaves Texas if that's what happens, especially a short-handed Oklahoma, man. So we'll move on to another Big Ten matchup, one I alluded to a little bit earlier, and Michigan USC is a really intriguing, fun matchup, and it'd be a really good nightcap, if we have a upset around noon, that'd be a fun game to just put your feet up and or enjoy from Grange Grove or Lot 31, right, Kev?
Absolutely.
So you made mention, so I have to talk about it. Michigan has a top 10 rushing offense, okay? USC is susceptible to the run. Illinois showed that, and I guarantee you on Michigan's film, watching USC, that stood out like, like a big sore thumb. So, and USC is trying to claim their defense had food poisoning and all this other stuff. Michigan's going to put that to the test. I expect, that Michigan to probably be able to move the ball on the ground, but I can tell you this, USC is going to move the ball through the air. So, Kev, 2.5 at home in the Coliseum. Sharon Moore and Lincoln Riley are going that back and forth at each other. Sharon Moore says the only reason that the Coliseum's actually going to be full is because Michigan's coming to town. And Lincoln Riley basically just told him to stick it, or he could keep USC out of his mouth, whatever, something like that.
Yeah, he says, I don't care what he says.
Yeah, he says, I don't care what he says. So this is going to be a fun one, Kev. So we're going to start with you here. Jordan Mailata and Bryce Underwood.
This is a weird game. Like, I have big questions about USC's ability to stop the run against a rushing offense that is just going to continue to pound the ball at you. But I also have questions about if USC loads the box and stops the run against Michigan coming off a bye week where they're well rested, they're pissed off. Can they stop the run? Because if they stop the run and force Bryce Underwood to pass, the kid can pass, but let's be honest, that's not what Michigan wants to do. I would feel better about taking Michigan, and I would call this a WTF game if Sharon Moore wasn't coaching, because frankly, I think the offense looked better when he was gone.
Yes.
I mean, you can look at the stats and the numbers agree with that. This is just such a weird game for me. I don't know, man. Like, I've gone back and forth on this one. I think Michigan's defense is solid. I think Maeva is really good here. I'm going to take the under 57.5 here. I think that USC can make enough plays on defense. Michigan is physical enough up front to stop that run and to get better secondary here. I'm going to take the under 57.5. This game, I can't figure this game out. I really can't. How different is USC at home versus playing on the road, going time zones? Because we saw Illinois struggle to run the ball against Power 4 teams all season long. They didn't struggle against USC. They didn't struggle from the start. Now, did they have food poisoning? Was it that big of a deal? How many guys are back? I don't. This game is weird to me. Matt, tell me something I don't know here, but I'm just going to take a wild stab at an under 57.5 here.
Yeah, I like it. This was going to be my lock if we didn't pick the game. This is a feel for me. This is USC Trojans -2.5 back in the friendly confines at home. They've had a whole week to have the bad taste of an Illinois loss in their mouth. Really 13 days. And they've just probably been shit on by, the media, the fans, their coaches. And I think, this is a much bigger game for Lincoln Riley and USC than it is for Michigan, in my opinion. I
it's
feel like
massive for UFC. There is
it's
like massive. Yep.
And this is the difference between, them having an outside shot at a playoff or going 8-4 or,
Yep.
7-5 the rest of the season.
Right, because they got to go to Notre Dame still. Yep.
Right
Yes.
now, USC is 22% chance to make the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Illinois is at 19.5. Michigan's somewhere in there between 19 and 25, I think.
Yeah, Michigan can still make it with a loss with what they have on their schedule. You'd have a loss at Oklahoma, at USC. They still have Ohio State coming to the big house. So
Yep. Yeah, and then they got Washington coming to the big house soon too. So, yeah.
My feeling on this is the Michigan offense does not strike fear into me. If I'm a USC fan, I think USC is gonna score enough and has the horses to score enough to win this by more than a field goal. Jaden Mayava is looking right here. Efficiency, these are efficiency rankings. He's number 1. Luke Altmaier is number 2, and Julian Sang is number 3 in the country.
And like Mendoza's 5.
Yeah, he's actually in this graph. He's 15.
Okay.
But Luke automatically it gets moved to 1 because he won the head-to-head and outperformed.
There you go.
And outperformed him. You know what I mean? So
now these are on dropbacks. Okay, so I know there's a lot of shotguns and stuff, but it says still. I don't know if they count the drop or the shotguns as dropbacks because it's got 153 for Luke, which is second among all those top 15. Ty Simpson's only one with more with 178, and he's 7th on the list. But I just I don't see Michigan going in there and winning this game, and I think if it's under a field goal, give me USC.
Okay. And with the last game, we all know where that is going to lead us to. So that's going to lead us back to Big Noon Kickoff in Champaign, Illinois, with the biggest game of the year. We've got OSU, Illinois. Ohio State's a 14.5-point favorite, which the line started out at 16.5, and it came down, and it pretty much stayed there at 14.5. So I think a lot of people will put money right. The Sharks or whatever you guys call them, right?
Sharks, yeah.
They put money heavy on Illinois to drop the line right away. Within 24 hours, it looked like it went from 16.5 to 14.5, and it's pretty much stayed there since Monday. So, Matt, we're going to start with you here. Interested to see your take about this vaunted, 4.5 point per game defense, Ohio State.
Yeah.
A true freshman quarterback, a true freshman running back, Bo Jackson, which their running game is probably their weakness. And Illinois, obviously, defense is their weakness, but turnovers can Illinois do what they need to do to get within that number? This is a very intriguing matchup, and of course with Illinois' offense as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm looking here. Points allowed first, TDs allowed only 2. Opponents red zone TD percentage 0. They have only allowed 2 TDs all season. Nobody scored.
By the way, both touchdowns, fellas. Arch Manning threw a deep fade in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter when they were down 14-0, and then Ohio got this fluke touchdown pass where the defender deflected the ball and he caught it and outran the defense. Yeah, that's it. That's the only 2 touchdowns they've given up all year.
So it's just wild to me. I mean, they're basically 1-2 with Oklahoma defense and a ton of metrics. Can this Illini team, to your point, feed off the crowd, get a turnover or two, have something right happen to where they get a little momentum and they can ride that wave through the rest of the game. I sure hope so. OSU 8-0-1 against the spread last 9. Illini 9-1 last 10. OSU's 4-1 against the spread last 5 Big Ten games. Illinois 5-1 last 6 home games. I think they've learned enough from Indiana. I think the crowd will be phenomenal. I think you see a little bit different defensive scheme here. At least I hope. I know 1 week's not a ton of time to just totally all overhaul your defense. But it comes down to, can they get pressure on the quarterback? If not, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be 31-13 Ohio State. But if they can find a way to get a turnover, and these games they've seen in the last couple of years, they've done it. 14.5. Give me the Illini. This might be a bet with my heart, but I think this game is a lot closer than people think. And I think going through the trials and tribulations in Bloomington will help this team this week.
I was wondering where we were going there, because you were like, if they do this and if they do this.
I got to set up some drama.
But which will they do? And it sounds like they're going to get it figured out.
I have faith in my team.
All right, Kevin, preach, testify, brother.
So let me get this straight. We got the best defense in the country
I know.
playing that only has allowed 2 touchdowns, that's played some pretty decent competition, going against a team whose pass defense has been really suspect lately, with arguably the best receiving core in the country and the highest completion percentage quarterback in the country.
Yep.
Take the logos off. Take the logos off. Like, this is Michigan versus USC, or this is any of the other games that we've looked at today. There's no chance in hell I would bet the underdog here. And so I'm not going to do it here. I just don't see it, man. I just don't. This has got 38-10 written all over it, man. And I hate it. I'm coming. I'm driving 600 miles with my family. I've got 6 tickets. I've got a huge tailgate. I'm making pulled pork breakfast tacos in lot 31. I'm going to be oranged out.
Bring this guy to the party, Matt.
Hey, I've been wrong plenty of times. I'd love to be wrong here. This just doesn't, like Ryan Day saying all the right things. They're taking this game seriously. Like here's the chance for Illinois.
Illinois is gonna get blown out in their own field. Okay. All right.
Here's the chance for Illinois. Turnovers. Ohio State's only +1 in the turnover margin. They're not forcing a lot of turnovers, and they do turn the ball over a little bit. Sayan does have 3 interceptions on the year. Can Illinois get unique and can they be out of the world like here?
You're late, SBR.
Like, can they do the weird things? Can they force a turnover? Can they get a pick 6? Can they speed Sayan up? Can they throw defenses at him that surprise him, that he doesn't know where pressure's coming from? That looks like man ends up being zone, looks like zone ends up being man. Can Illinois do enough of that to rattle a freshman quarterback on the road to where he starts seeing ghost? Because that's what he's going to have to do. And right now, our secondary hasn't shown that we can make anybody see. Our defense has not shown the ability to make anybody see ghosts. That's what's going to have to happen Saturday to keep this a close game. And then can Illinois keep Altmaier clean? Like, you look at all the teams that are top in the nation in sacks, and it's there's a common denominator is they played Illinois. Like, they get, like, can we keep Luke Altmaier upright? Granted, last 2 weeks much better. There's been 3 sacks the last 2 weeks. 1 was on Altmaier.
2 of them were cornerback blitzes.
Right. And one clearly in the Purdue game was on Altmaier. The other one was an exotic from USC, just didn't see it. So it wasn't like the offensive line was giving up pressure. I just don't know what Illinois – this defense is – now, granted, But they went to Washington and played a really good Washington offense. Is Illinois' offense better than Washington? I think so, but is it enough with Illinois' leaky secondary right now? My heart is all in on Illinois. I mean, I love Aaron Henry. He is a friend of mine. Like, I just don't see it. Give me the Buckeyes minus 14 that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I know those are both very real possibilities. And, it's also a possibility that Illinois plays their best game they've had this year.
And please, guys, you all know me well enough. I so hope I'm wrong. Because here's the thing. Illinois can play well in this game and lose by 7 to 10 points. Let's say Illinois loses this game 31-23, puts up a fight. They're in it to the end. Illinois can make the college football playoff. Illinois loses this game 38-10. I don't think you have any chance of making college football playoff. I think your dreams are cooked. You're 10-2. The best two teams on the schedule beat you by a combined 71 points. You don't have a chance.
Yeah, you can't. After Indiana, you don't get any more like boo-boos.
You have to show up and show out on Saturday. And I think they can.
Yeah.
We just haven't seen it yet. The Parker Stats of War thing said that we should have lost to Purdue. We gave up 400 and some odd yards to Purdue. There's just.
Well, I was looking at some metric that goes off of specific stats and efficiencies, which is weird, but it was one that people have used, and I got to remember what the Twitter handle was, but it said 31-21 is what it's calculating off of all of their, Illinois' offense metrics.
Looking at it right now.
What'd you say?
I'm looking at it right now. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, so you can enlighten a little bit more, but it did say 31-21. So
these are advanced stats previews from Parker Fleming at Stats War.
Right.
Yes. And he's got it 31-21 on projection of points.
For 21 points, that means we will have scored 1.5 times the amount of touchdowns that Ohio State's given up in 5 games.
Yeah, which is going to be a tall task. But
you get a healthy Lawfrey back. You get a positive. You get Khalil Valentine's mojo. He's running really good right now. It seems like Clement and Bo.
You got a freshman running back in Bo Jackson, who's now their bell cow. What do young running backs do? They turn the ball over. Like, can you get a tip? Can you get a tip and a pick? Like, can the turnover fairy come into play here? Like,
steal 7 to 10 with turnovers, inside their area.
Will we be in the stadium for kickoff? Will our fans be in the stadium for the kickoff? Like, I mean, I have all these questions. Like,
I will. Are you, Kev?
Yeah, I'm leaving the tailgate at 10:15, 10:20.
Yep.
I'm on the east side. I'll be tailgating on the west side, so I got a long haul.
And you don't want to miss those F5. What are the Bombers for kickoff, dude?
No, I don't.
They're coming, which is exciting. I was at the last Ohio State game in Champaign 10 years ago, and they had the same thing, man. Those Bombers just.
I bet you we got orange towels on our seats. Like, it'll be great. The fans got to bring it. There's a chance there's always a chance.
Hey guys, you know what? I'm calling. Sean Garner's gonna be our good luck charm. Here we go. Right here.
I will weep like a child. I will weep like a baby. I will go down and kiss the midfield after the game on the field, like, for sure. I hope we can celebrate. There's a reason why I have this picture behind me. I hope we can celebrate like that.
And I want everybody to know this, and it's okay. But I told my my lady tonight, because I haven't got my ticket yet to the Ohio State game, and I know I'm going to be paying a couple $100 for one. So
by the way, anybody wants to shoot me an email, kmducey@gmail.com. Urbana Middle School Baseball is raffling off tickets in the Horseshoe, $20 per raffle ticket. Shoot me a note, and I'll send you the link. And kmducey@gmail. Shoot me an email. Let me know. I'll give you the link so you can go ahead and see if you can get in that raffle for winning a ticket. So winning a couple tickets.
Good shout out. kmducey@gmail.com.
Yeah, Kevin Michael, KM. Yep.
Yep. So I told her, I said, I don't want to look back in 20 years, I'm almost 60 then, and say, man, I wasn't at that game,
Mm.
I
Yep.
could have been at that because, like, I wasn't at that game right there, and I wanted to go so bad because I had a bunch of friends that were like, "Man, I think we're going to do it this year. We're going to Columbus, Ryan. You want to road trip with us?" And they had a ticket, but I was like, I was just I'm already salty about that, and I was just like, you know what? Cheapest one I'm finding right now was like 180, 190, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend a couple $100. I don't care where my ticket is. I'll get in because there's a bunch of people still selling. But I'm not going to regret this. If Illinois loses by 10, 15 or whatever, and you keep it competitive, I'm not going to leave being pissed off, because I wanted to come to see this because this doesn't happen very often. Even for Brett Bielema, he said he's been a coach for 17 years, a head coach, and he can't count on one hand how many times he's gotten this chance, So it doesn't happen often. College football playoff positioning, all that stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. Come to our tailgate. Well, Kevin, you'll post pictures of that, right? Where the location is for people.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can get up in my section for $134 on TickPick, Ryan.
Okay, I might if it's close to you, bro. I just might. Well, yeah, we'll get all those logistics down, but let's get to our locks here. Kev, we'll start with you here this week on your lock, and you got. Yep, go ahead.
I'm going to pick one, but I'm going to give a couple here. All right. First of all, Tennessee. I got to see what it is now. It's been minus 12, 13 and a half, something like that. It's 12 and a half against Arkansas.
12 and a half.
Tennessee 12 and a half against Arkansas. I love it. I love the over 68 and a half. I think Tennessee might get 68 and a half on their own.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick a little bit more local. I'm going to stay in the conference here. And I'm actually probably going to SGP Tennessee minus the 12 and a half and the over. Same game parlay. I'm also another game I really like here. Anybody know who the number one passing defense in the country is?
Number one passing defense?
Yeah.
North Texas?
It's the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They can't stop the run to save their life. But they're the number one passing defense in the country. And they're playing against the team Maryland here. And Nebraska is getting 6.5 points going to College Park. And I'm going to ride the wagon again. I know it's weird that I just said Nebraska at the number one passing, but this will be a low-scoring game. I might SGP Maryland plus 6.5 and the under in that game. But I like the Terrapins to cover the 6.5 point spread at home.
You think they win?
I don't know if they win. The way they lost that game was so brutal last week. Like, I can't think that they're going to win. But Nebraska's not as good as Washington. And Maryland gets after the quarterback. Maryland's one of the top teams in the country at sacking the quarterback. That Maryland defense is also really good. Neither one of the teams can run the ball. Neither one seem to stop the run either. This is a weird game.
Did Maryland lose one of their top young linemen, though? Didn't he get hurt or something like that?
I don't know, but 6.5 points at home against the Nebraska team that really hasn't shown anything yet. I'm not buying it. Give me the Terrapins plus the 6.5. I am going to SGP that with the under 47.5 as well. So,
okay.
So I might have just taken Matt's. Who knows?
No, it is a number of 6.5 though.
Is that a stinky line? Is that a Joe line, Matt?
It is. I actually looked at that to take Maryland too, so I'm right on the same page with you. Nebraska, just to me, I mean, who have they played? I guess better now looks that Cincinnati win.
Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe there's just a hatred there for me for Nebraska, but I don't know what it is. But I'm going to stay local here, and I'm taking the UNLV running Rebs. Minus 6.5 at home. They're 5-0, playing a 1-4 Air Force team. Air Force the last 4 weeks has given up 34, 44, 49, 49. And yes, they were competitive and maybe probably should have pulled out the Navy game this past week. But this is a UNLV team that's 5-0. They're averaging 36 points a game. I think that you see them get in the 40s here. I think Air Force will keep it close for a while, but under a touchdown, I'm taking UNLV. Give me UNLV to go 6-0 and cover the 6.5 spread.
Okay.
Matt, what do you think about Army minus 17.5 against Charlotte, who can't stop a nosebleed?
Yeah, I would hop on that. That has 35-7 written all over it.
Charlotte can't stop a nosebleed, man.
35-7. All right. So
do it under Wisconsin, Iowa, you sicko. Do it. 35.5, Wisconsin, Iowa, 35.5. Just do it.
That's crazy.
No, that sounds like that's another one you're wanting to pick. I'm not saying that. You know what? I'm looking here at some. So I'm not going to pick I'm just going to pick an over. You know. So what I'm looking at here, I'm seeing Texas Tech and Kansas. Okay, and both of these. Yes, Texas Tech, Kansas. It's 60. It's 59.5. Sorry, point total.
The number one offense in the country.
And Kansas.
And Texas Tech.
Yes, Texas Tech and Kansas together. I'm saying it's going to be over 59.5.
Okay.
I think Texas Tech's put up 35 on Houston. Kansas is going to score 27 even in a loss every time. But I'm thinking this game is going to be in the mid to upper 60s. Texas Tech scores a lot of points. Kansas defense not very good. And so, yeah, I like that one, especially since it's in Lubbock. I think this is going to be a high scoring victory for Texas Tech. So I'm going to take Texas Tech, Kansas over 59.5.
All right. And some of our other folks saying Dominic Rosary likes Washington over Rutgers. Washington covers the spread. That's minus 10.5. I don't mind that. Rutgers going all the way out to the West Coast for that one. Cincinnati covers against UCF. Oh, that's interesting. Look at the line there. That's Cincinnati minus 10.5 against UCF. That's a big number. I don't necessarily like that, but hey, to each their own. And
Western Michigan 9.5 over a bad Ball State team.
Yeah, Western Michigan. That's Jason Lees. Appreciate that. I was looking at it too. I think Western Michigan might be the best team in the MAC. What I'm looking at, I think they're the best team in the MAC.
Defensively, for sure.
Yeah. And dude, I don't know. Like St. Dominic's Rosary likes Penn State to blow out Northwestern 21.5. Something's broken there, man. Something's broken, man. Like, I don't know.
Like, and Northwestern's defense can be kind of sturdy sometimes too. Like, they held Oregon to 34 points.
No.
Yep. All right. So that'll do it unless you have anything else, Matt.
I'm good.
All right. Well, enjoy the blackjack table, and
he keeps looking at his TV, brother. He's got baseball bets. He's got Middle Tennessee State. He's got something going on.
The Blue Jays got rid of the Yankees, huh?
They did.
Yeah, I took the Blue Jays. So I won that, but I've got I'm in a quagmire here. I've got
giggity goo.
UTEP -6 or +6, and I've got Liberty -14. It is currently 19-8. UTEP just scored on a garbage touchdown. They haven't scored all game. There's 3:42 left to go. Liberty's driving in field goal range.
Liberty 1-4. They were some people's group of 5 pick.
I know.
Yeah, because Colorado took their quarterback, Salters.
Yeah,
and
they've been really underwhelming.
So Matt, do you remember this? Remember we stayed up late last year. We were doing the show. Remember the Maction? It was a Wednesday night. It was that.
Yes, I do.
The Buffalo double.
I do. Yes.
Yeah, and you covered because they went into double overtime or something.
It was something crazy like that, but I shouldn't have won, and I did.
Because you were watching the TV the whole time, and I'm like, "What is he watching?" And you're like, "I got big money on Buffalo." And I was like, you're like, Buffalo scored double overtime. I'm like, okay. That's one thing about putting money on college athletics, man. It's like you're like, why would you care about the Buffalo Bulls? And you're like,
Exactly. Why am I betting on Liberty and UTEP? But
Hey,
here I
one
am.
last thing for anybody who happens to still be watching, if you are,
coming.
Minnesota's struggle with Buffalo. It's not a good football team. I don't know if Rutgers is any good. I know they can score. Minnesota barely squeaked one out there. What's Ohio State's best win? Do we know if Washington's for real? Maybe we'll find out this week. There's some hope. Texas certainly doesn't look like they're very for real.
No, yeah.
They struggle with some weird teams that like they struggle with UTEP. 1-4 UTEP.
Yeah.
Like 38-7 or something like that. So
and remember Ohio, it was 16-9 in the third quarter. Ohio State in Columbus. It was 16-9. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
You know how I know that? Because at the Western Michigan game, they put it on the big screen, and I was like, everybody was watching, and they were like, I said, I had to like rub my eyes. I was like, 16-9. And I was like, yes. In the third
halfway through the third quarter, 16-9. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. So
2 Jeremiah Smith touchdowns and a Carnell Tate touchdown, 2 40-yard bombs and a Jeremiah Smith touchdown run.
You know Illinois is going to play the deep safety stuff. They're not going to allow that. That's why Bielema was so pissed off about the blown coverage with the cornerback blitz and Scott and him. That's one thing he can't stand, that is that deep stuff over the top. So I don't think Illinois is going to get beat over the top by anything. If they get beat by something, it's going to be the middle crosser stuff where Jeremiah Smith may outrun somebody, which he could do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so obviously Illinois, 11 a.m. Enjoy military ball, Matt. I know you'll be in Champaign in spirit.
Thank you.
See you in a couple days, brother.
I will. I wish I could be there, but duty calls.
Yep. All right, you guys. We appreciate it. Subscribe on YouTube, and maybe we'll have a victorious Keeping It Orange and Blue Sunday night. Swap me out.
ILL.
I.